Hello and welcome to this screencast about academic misconduct. In this screencast, we'll talk about types of academic misconduct, the procedure for submitting academic misconduct cases, how academic misconduct cases are dealt with within the college, and also examples of poor academic practice and how this differs from academic misconduct. Just a couple of points to note to begin with. Cases of academic misconduct are suspected cases until they've been presented to the academic misconduct panel and a decision has been made. So therefore the piece of work should be marked by the tutor at face value initially, and this is the mark that is recorded in the tutor portal and on the progress tracker. After the academic misconduct panel meets, any penalty will be applied by college services. So to go through the academic misconduct form, as you can see, the first part is to complete the form with your name, the student's name, and the student's T number. The name needs to be their real name, not their nickname. The type of suspected academic misconduct. As you can see, there are various different types there. The module code, that's very important that you have the module code and the assessment type, whether this is a report or an essay or something like that. So then you complete the statement part. So this is the grounds for suspecting that this is a case of academic misconduct. For example, that you think that the language is much higher level than the student can produce, or the Turnitin report shows a very high similarity. Whatever the situation is, this is where you need to put that. And then attach the evidence. So if it's based on the Turnitin report, then attach that, or a copy of the student's writing produced under time conditions. So for example, from the Language for Study module, or any other kind of evidence that you have. So once you've completed that, then you take it to the senior tutor or program leader and have a discussion with them. He or she will decide if it is if there's enough evidence to take it forward to the academic panel, and if there is, then what penalty do you recommend? Do you and the program leader or senior tutor recommend? And then if it is going to go forward to the panel, then you take this, and either you or the program leader then passes it to college services, and they put it forward for the academic misconduct panel. So to talk about the types of academic misconduct, the plagiarism, which is a student copying from a source but not acknowledging it. Collusion, where two students or maybe even a group of students work together and then submit a piece of work as if it was their own individual work. And bought or commissioned work, which can be buying an essay from a website, or commissioned in this sense can be someone else has written it. So it could be the friend or a family member of the student who writes the essay. And cheating in exams, which we're not going to focus on in this screencast, but would be part of the same procedure. So the same form that we've just looked at would be submitted if there's a case of suspected cheating in an exam. So where to find the academic misconduct form? If you go onto the VLE, and you will find that the academic services page, which is what college services used to be called, is automatically added to your VLE account. So you can see here NTIC Academic Services staff. And if you go into that link, you will see the forms are there, or the form, and then some guidance. If you go under here, you can see there's an academic misconduct grid. So what happens next? The form is submitted to college services by the program lead or senior tutor. The student is notified by college services that they have a suspected case. The students are invited to the academic misconduct panel. The academic misconduct panel meets. This is made up of members of the senior management team, program leaders or senior tutors. And a decision is made during the panel, and students are informed of the decision by college services. And the mark, as I said before, the mark is adjusted by college services if any penalty has been applied. So it's not necessary for the tutor to apply that. So to just summarize, if you suspect academic misconduct, complete the academic misconduct form and attach the evidence and take it to the senior tutor or program leader. So to move on to cases of poor academic practice, these are different to academic misconduct cases. To show you a definition or a couple of definitions of poor academic practice. This one is from our own Kaplan Academic Standards and Quality Manual. And as you can see, this says, in the early stages of a student's program, there may be a potential risk of inadvertent academic misconduct. This may commonly be the case where a student has inadequately referenced within a course assessment, which could therefore be considered as poor academic practice. This is mirrored in the NTU Quality Handbook, which has a similar kind of definition. Poor academic practice differs from the more serious categories of academic misconduct and academic offence in that the student is deemed to misunderstand academic practice rather than creating the potential for inappropriate advantage. So a difference here being made around the intention that the student has. So this is an example of the kind of thing that we would treat as poor academic practice. So as you can see, the Turn-In report has highlighted that the student has lots of similarities with the source, or two sources, but both of these sources have a reference, not correctly written, but this is what we would consider where the student is not trying to pass off this work as their own words because they've put a reference there, but they probably don't understand the conventions around how to reference correctly, and that they haven't paraphrased enough or used quotation marks if that's appropriate. But this would be wouldn't be put forward to the panel. This would be considered poor academic practice. So what should you do with these kinds of examples? Well, you need to mark it as usual. Using the marking descriptors for the particular assignment that you're marking. The student may have a reduced mark as a result of this in the practical academic skills section or whatever is similar within the particular marking descriptors that you're using. And it's important that we keep a check on these cases of poor academic practice. So there is a spreadsheet that is set up on the S drive for tutors to log these cases, and then these cases are followed up by the relevant program leader and senior tutor to make sure that the student understands that what poor academic practice is, how they can address it in future, and also the fact that it may lead to a case of academic misconduct in the future as well. So thank you very much for listening. If you can complete the questionnaire that follows this screencast.